Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to FragThePlanet. So, somebody on the YouTube channel, guy named Kwawim Effendi. Hopefully, I'm not saying that name wrong. I'm sure I am. Sorry if I botched it. But he asked what my recommendations for a good Stormcaller class build would be for PvP. So, here's my recommendations. I actually used this in a couple control games, and it worked out really well. I'm generally like a mid-range player, so I like to kind of hang back. I'll use my pulse rifle or fusion or heavy machine gun. I'm not really like a melee shotgun kind of person, so this build isn't geared towards that. Um, so I basically set my build up to give me as many grenades as possible, and then any grenade kills that I get will charge my super. I like to throw a lot of grenades because just the way I play, I hang back. So I went with high discipline armor, and on my helmet I picked Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills, and increased discipline. See, I maxed out my discipline, so it'll just keep charging that grenade as quick as possible. I went with increased grenade throw distance and high discipline on my gauntlets. I went with Void Fang vestments because every time you respawn, it spawns you with a full grenade. And so that'll just allow me to have a grenade pretty much on hand all the time, and any kills that I get with them charges my super. If you have Void Fang vestments, you might get something like Arc armor. That would be good to put on. I went with Solar Burn defense, to guard against Sunbreaker Titans. I just don't. I could use Glass Needles and reroll these and try to get Arc Armor, but I just didn't have it at this time. I went with boots that give me Arc Double Down, increase agility for 5 seconds after an Arc Double Kill. Generally, when you pop your Stormcaller Super, you should most of the time be able to get 2 kills, so that'll give you like a little agility boost. And I went with High Intellect and High Discipline Armband, Warlock Bond, Warlock Artifact. That's got 82 discipline. And this has high discipline. So make sure you're picking this stuff to back up your subclass. Now, remember that your light level in regular Crucible match doesn't matter. So 294 doesn't really come into play in regular Crucible. So you could use year 1 weapons. You can use, low level blues. It doesn't matter. I mean, look at the discipline on this blue ghost shell. Plus 38 discipline. So keep that in mind. Like, if you're trying to set up a specific PvP build, you might have better luck using some blues. Like, I know some blues helmets have, look at this one. This one has Ashes to Assets and really high intellect. And I've seen some with like 70 discipline. So keep that in mind, because a lot of the purples don't really have like high discipline and intellect and strength numbers like the blues will. So I went with pulse, fusion, and heavy machine gun. You can use whatever weapons you like. I use these because I'm a mid-range kind of guy. So here's my subclass build for Stormcaller, and I'll just list these off real quick, and then I'll talk about them as you can while you're checking out some of the gameplay that I had while I was using it. So I use Storm Grenade, Focus Burst, Ionic Blink, Rising Storm, Arcane Spirit, Feedback, Divine Order, and Arc Web. I went with Storm Grenade. Arc Bolt Grenade is also a really good choice. But I like Storm Grenade because you can, if there's a group of people, you can take out a whole group with one Storm Grenade. Arc Bolt Grenade just shoots like a couple bolts. I think it's like 2, maybe 3 little electric shock things come out of it, and generally my Arc Bolt doesn't kill an enemy. It'll take their shield down and stuff like that, but I've had the Storm Grenade kill people straight off, especially if you throw it like where they're going to be or if they're jumping somewhere, because you can't, once the Storm Grenade goes off, you really can't get out of the area of effect there, area of damage, or whatever you want to call it. I went with Focus Burst because I like the extra speed burst. Balance Glide. I don't really care about control in the air because I try to spend as little time in the air as possible. the less time you spend in the air, the less, you know, the enemy will know where you're going to go and or where you are and stuff like that. So if you're running around on the ground, you can use cover and stuff like that a lot better. I like Ionic Blink, Blint, Ionic Blink because it lets you, if you're going after like a big group of people, it'll let you get around the map a lot quicker. And also, when you blink, they can't shoot you, so it's kind of like having a blink jump. So you can kind of dodge shots and stuff like that, because once you pop your super, people are going to freak out, and they're going to try to unload shotguns on you or whatever. And you can just blink around and blink behind them and zap them from behind or whatever. Thunderstrike, I went with Rising Storm. Hits with Thunderstrike charge your super ability in melee. I'm not really a huge melee person, but I thought it was better than these. Thunderstrike has greater range. That'd probably be a pretty decent one too. I don't usually like to be in melee range, so anything that keeps me out of that, I'm happy. But I wanted to charge super as quickly as possible, so I went with Rising Storm. Thunderstrike chains in nearby enemies. Nah, it's more like PvE kind of stuff. Amplitude might be a good choice. I usually roll full armor and recovery and low agility. I'm just used to that. I don't really need to be running around and sprinting and jumping all over super fast. That kind of plays into my mid-range playstyle. Incoming melee attacks fully recharging intensify Thunderstrike. This saved my life quite a few times, because you'll have people that will run up you with shotgun, and they'll shotgun you and try to melee you. Well, if they shotgun you and they don't kill you with their first shot, and then they go for a melee, you can melee them back, and or if they miss their shotgun and they're already in melee range, they're just gonna hit their melee, and then it charges your melee strike and intensifies it. So I can generally, you know, it's just a lot easier to kill them when you're in melee range with that. Transcendence is good, but I throw a lot of grenades, so it generally doesn't process for me. Doesn't proc, because I'm always chucking grenades, so I just won't usually ever have grenade and melee energy full. And if you pop your super and you don't have, you know, your grenade and melee full, the transcendence won't do anything. That's good for like PvE kind of stuff when you can time your supers a little bit better. Once again, you know, I went with Divine Order for max armor and recovery. Electrostatic Mind is okay. If you're playing Control, it might be good for when you're taking maps and taking flags, because you have a bunch of, you know, your teammates on a flag doing it. And Storm Trance charges faster when allies are near, so your super will charge a lot quicker. But I went with Arc Web, so that way, because I'm always throwing grenades, like I said, so it just gives me a better chance of getting more kills with the grenade, and then that in turn will charge my super. Perpetual Charge I don't really care too much about, because I don't use melee as much, so I'm not a shotgun melee person. If you are, you might want to run that. You know, you set up your subclass to back up your strong points as a player, and that's how you'll get your super to charge up as quick as possible. So, you know, it worked pretty well for me. I mean, I ended up Control with 2.88 KD, so I'm really happy about that. I got some really good super kills. So thanks for checking out the video. You know, go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you want to see more of these in the future. I'm pretty happy with that match, 2.88 KD. Can't ask for more than that. I'd like to be in first place, but it doesn't happen every time. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys, and enjoy your weekend.